Oh, this is going to be difficult. Mario Kart World versus Sonic Racing CrossWorlds was the debate of 2025. Two kart racers from two of the most iconic gaming franchises. What more could you possibly ask for? Of course, the debate of which game is better has been going on since before either game launched. And even 5 months after CrossWorlds came out, people are still talking about it. So I thought I'd throw my hat into the ring. Being a Mario and Sonic fan myself, I thought both of these games were really good. And honestly, for the longest time, I didn't even know which one I liked more. Until now. So how this is going to work is that there are 7 different categories. The winner of each category gets 1 point. At the end, the one with the most points will be declared the winner. So let's start with gameplay and controls, a pretty crucial thing to get right in a racing game. Both of these games have great control and general gameplay. With Mario Kart, you are a bit slower, but you also have a ton of freedom with things like the parkour system. And overall, the controls just feel very responsive. With CrossWorlds, you can get up to much higher speeds, but as a trade-off, the control doesn't give you nearly as much freedom. It's a lot stiffer. It took me a long time to get the hang of controlling the vehicles in CrossWorlds, whereas in Mario Kart, I got it pretty much instantly. However, we also have to consider the vehicle transformations. This is something that I think CrossWorlds does better at. Both games have the same vehicle transformations, but with Mario Kart, they just feel more tanky and heavy, like with the boats for example. In CrossWorlds, it's really fun charging up your drift to get an air boost, but in Mario Kart, you just drift, but really slowly and uncomfortably. The planes in Mario Kart give you more freedom, but the streamlined nature of CrossWorlds equivalent makes it easier to grasp. Still though, the parkour mechanics in Mario Kart World are just so damn fun, and honestly, that aspect alone puts its gameplay just slightly above CrossWorlds. So Mario Kart gets the point here. Next we have the track design, another pretty important aspect. This is where things get really complicated. For the actual courses of Mario Kart World, I would say the track design is really good. You got a nice variety of alternate pathways and different scenarios to use the parkour abilities. The issue is that those actual tracks only account for around 1/3 of the Grand Prix. The rest of your playtime will be spent on the route segments, which as you probably know by now, are mostly just straightaways with little to no obstacles or alternate pathways. So that's definitely not a good thing. CrossWorlds has a completely different problem. The track design in this game is almost too compact. There's not a lot of breathing room for you and the other players, and this is the case for both the regular tracks and the CrossWorlds. It creates a much more chaotic environment, which some may be a fan of, but I personally couldn't really get behind it. It's especially bad in tracks like Apatos. There's a reason why this area has commonly been dubbed the mosh pit by Sonic fans. But at the end of the day, I'm giving the point to Sonic here because while yes, I have issues with the track design, it's at the very least engaging. With Mario Kart, the route segments were a cool novelty at first, but after multiple races, they get tiring really quickly. Next we have characters and customization. Sonic obviously gets the point here. Look, I am one of the few people who actually kind of like the Mario Kart World character roster. Like, come on, it's funny as hell seeing all these enemies as playable racers. But Mario Kart World doesn't really have any customization. The only thing we got is different character outfits, but those are only cosmetic. The actual vehicle customization from 8 Deluxe was completely removed here and replaced with pre-built vehicles, which in some cases I can appreciate, but it does suck that there's little to no customization at all in this game. So I'm glad that CrossWorlds has pretty much everything. You got the vehicle customization where you can mix different vehicle parts, add your own decals, and other visual flair. There are also the different vehicle and character types. Oh, and I have to mention the gadget system. That's one of CrossWorld's best features. And the character roster itself is really damn good as well. Even excluding the free update characters in the DLC, the selection of Sonic characters is really good. But yeah, the crossovers carry it. Like bro, we got Steve from Minecraft, okay? So yeah, again, this one is really no contest. So let's move on to graphics, art style, and just general polish. Mario easily gets the point here. I do not like how Sonic Racing CrossWorlds looks. I would even say in many places, it just looks like shit. The character models and their animations make them look stiff and lifeless, and a handful of the courses lack anything visually interesting as well. I mean, for Christ's sake, you could see the pixels on these textures. It just looks like a very cheaply made game. But Mario Kart looks breathtaking. The characters have so much expression and life to them. They're so well animated. The areas you go to are full of color and visual variety. The art style this game was going for was implemented perfectly. This is one of, if not the best looking Mario games to date. It really does have that signature Mario polish that pretty much every Mario game has in some way. But then we move on to multiplayer and online features. Mario Kart is traditionally known for its multiplayer, and I'll give it some credit. When playing locally, it's pretty fun. You have access to a load of options with the items you can play with, the courses you play on, including courses with 3-lap races, or you can just roam around the open world and dick around. That can be pretty fun too. The problems come up when we get to the online mode. I think we all know the controversy by now. Knockout Tour is pretty good and fun, but with regular races, it sucks that there's not an option option to play without the route segments. But then we move over to CrossWorlds. With Race Park, you get the same customization options as Mario Kart's Versus mode, so I would say they're pretty equal there. But then there's the online stuff, and yeah, this is getting complicated. So the standard world match is great, you just get to play races. But every once in a while, they'll come in and ruin your weekend by adding a festival. I do not like these. I do not like the team modes. They're not fun. There should always be an option for world match, regardless of whether a festival is happening or not. So with that in mind, I think I'm still going to give the point to CrossWorlds here, just because festivals don't happen that frequently. Let's talk about the soundtracks. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh, Mario Kart, easily, right? Well, originally I 100% agreed, but now after playing these games for so long, no, I'm just f***ing with you. It's still Mario Kart any day of the week. Mario Kart World has one of the best soundtracks in any game I have ever played. It's mostly remixes, yes, but all of them are f***ing fantastic. No matter what instruments or genre they go with, it sounds amazing every single time. With CrossWorlds, there are a couple of songs I like. We got tracks like Radical Highway, Kronos Island, and Halaska. I like all of those a fair bit, but for every Wonder Museum, we have an Apatos, if you get what I'm saying. This soundtrack is just wildly inconsistent. Meanwhile, I cannot name a single miss from Mario Kart soundtrack. It easily gets the point here. Well, wouldn't you look at that? We're all tied up. It all comes down to the final category, being replayability and extra modes. This was by far the hardest category to decide. Let's start with Mario Kart World. We have 3 main modes here. There's Grand Prix, which we've already talked about a fair amount, Knockout Tour, which was a very welcome addition, and Battle Mode, which was a little lackluster compared to 8 Deluxe, but it was serviceable and pretty fun. And I guess I should also include Free Roam, since it does have its own missions. Moving over to CrossWorlds, it practically has the same number of modes, with the Grand Prix combined with all of the stuff in Race Park, along with the Time Trial mode. So I would say in terms of game modes, both games are a lot more similar than you may think. But when it comes to replayability, I think CrossWorlds takes the cake here. There's so much for you to do. You could go back and collect red star rings, beat all of the rivals, unlock music tracks in Time Trial, and there's even that whole friendship system. And that's not even mentioning all of the events, rewards, and characters that get added in free updates. The problem with Mario Kart is that after you play through what the main game has to offer, there's really not any incentive to come back and play it, unless you're just playing for fun, which of course there's nothing wrong with that, but when putting the 2 games head to head, I gotta give CrossWorlds the point. So yeah, I guess Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is my personal favorite kart racer of the 2, but it's really damn close. I love and dislike both of these games for their own reasons, and honestly, I find myself going back to both of these games for different reasons as well. If I want to play a more competitive, traditional racer, then I'll go with CrossWorlds. But if I'm in the mood for something more casual and relaxed, then I'll choose Mario Kart. It just depends. But let me know what you guys think. Which game do you think is better? Let me know in the comments down below. But that's all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.